gotta do it like that. You've been listening to the Learn Cardano podcast. Gotta get it hype. Crypto is what we like, but this is not investment or financial advice. Gotta do your research, cause it's risky. We know it is. This show is educational and it's informative. Crypto's the future, really, it ain't no debate.
All right. We have another Catalyst Sprint, another live session where we're going through a whole bunch of projects that are building stuff on Cardano, have these awesome Catalyst proposals, and we'll have 6 guests on this episode here. So it's a little bit of a marathon, goes for just over an hour and a half. We'll be going through all the proposals, like I said. Now, if you haven't looked at these proposals, I highly recommend going through them on Lido Nation's Catalyst Explorer. I did a video with Darlington in regards to that awesome website. It's a much easier website to go through the proposals. You build short lists of everything that you want to go through and potentially vote on, and also organizes your voting power within those particular challenges as well. So you don't overvote in a particular challenge. It's a really interesting mechanism. I love what the guys are doing. Now, the very first guest I have on board is Robert, and he's from Gibble Labs, and is talking about a project called Andamino. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that right. We've got a really good learning management system platform proposal here. Absolutely love the educational side in the Cardano space. So Roberto, welcome. You know the general drill. We got 5 minutes to go through the presentation, then we've got a Q&A session afterwards. If you're watching on the live stream, please go ahead and ask your questions while the presentation is going on, and I'll make sure they're asked at the end. So Roberto, go for it.
Hey, Pete. Thank you so much for having me here. Let me just set this up to share screen.
While that happens, I've just set up the timer here as well for you, so we're watching the time. We've got a lot of guests coming on board.
Okay, I'll be mindful of the time.
All good. Go for it whenever you're ready.
Can you see me?
Yep.
Perfect. Okay, so thanks for having me here. Today I'm going to talk about one of our Project Catalyst System Improvements Challenge. It's basically building a Project Catalyst project-based learning program on Andamio. And the first question we asked ourselves when creating this proposal was why? Why create a project-based learning proposal program for Project Catalyst on Andamio? And the main goal of this proposal is just to improve onboarding. So we believe that we can take the Project Catalyst from the comprehensive onboarding documentation that we have today to a comprehensive project-based learning program that will achieve 2 goals. The first one is to increase participation, and the second one is just to increase quality of contribution. And then how do we plan to do this? Well, Andamio is a blockchain-based learning management system that tracks user skill acquisition. And so what do we mean when we talk about on-chain skill acquisition tracking? So throughout the program, participants are presented with what we call mastery-based assessments, and those are based on learning targets. And as assessments are completed, this progress is reflected on the participant's contributor token. So this serves 2 purposes. The first one is that it rewards the time and effort spent by the participant in completing these mastery-based assessments. So our goal is to record skill acquisition, not just program. And the second purpose of this skill acquisition recording is to grant access. Because all these mastery skills, acquired skills are recorded on-chain on a token, you can use this token to grant access to participatory roles. Speak specifically of our Project Catalyst, we're talking about being a DREP, being a proposal reviewer, a proposer, or even a voter. So why use Andamio for Project Catalyst? And by this, I mean, why not use just a traditional LMS? Why not use just Canvas or something similar? And we believe that Andamio provides a comprehensive contributor onboarding solution. And by this, we mean that because we're using a blockchain-based learning management system, this allows for a few things. The first is security. And by this, we mean that because it's built on blockchain and a decentralized platform, it's much less vulnerable to security breaches and for data tampering. Most of us know this. This is kind of second nature for anyone that's in the blockchain community. And the second one is interoperability, which means that any skills you acquire in the Andamio platform, instance, you can transfer to another instance. So as the Andamio network of instances grows, you get access to a growing number of opportunities for project contribution. And third, it's traceable. And on-chain records that are traceable provide transparency and accountability. And these all are very important when we're talking about contributor onboarding, when we talk about educational programs and on-chain skill recording, right? So talking specifically about Andamio PBL and how does it work? Well, it's pretty simple. You get a token identifier. The Andamio platform provides this token identifier. Then you go through mastery-based learning. And by mastery-based learning, we mean that it's focused on attainment of skills and knowledge rather than just progressing through a program. So the emphasis is placed on depth of understanding and ability to apply that understanding. And so what this means is because this is these mastery-based learning recorded, this participant's token is a record not just of knowledge acquired, but the ability to apply that knowledge in real-world scenarios, which is perfect for contributing to real projects and thus great project experience, real-world experience, which is such a valuable commodity nowadays when learning a new skill. Okay, when we look at the Andamio methodology specifically, we are talking about contributors that are interested in participating in Project Catalyst PBL, for example. We'll go through a project-based program that consists of 4 modules. The first one is onboarding, which will teach you what is it, how can I get started. Then we go through building background knowledge, which covers how does it work, and what do I need to know to participate. Then we go through specialization, which teaches you or covers how to do it, how to execute this role. And then we go to contribution, which is contributing to real-world projects. We talk about Andamio's features, and most of them we've talked about already, which is project-based learning, which just means that the student is at the center of the dynamic. The teacher is a facilitator. Then we have mastery-based assessments, on-chain skill acquisition record, treasury, and governance engine. And this is our handles, our communication channels. If you have any questions, anything that you'd like to ask, please feel free to reach out.
Roberto, absolutely amazing. I love the tweak to that, not just going through a course and getting to the end of it and getting the tick. You said the mastery of those particular skills. And I love the emphasis on that and the real world experiences that you get out of it. So I do have a couple of questions for you here, and let me just move this around a little bit. There we go. Oh. So the first one I have is around the token identifier. Is that a DID or is it something else? I just want to know how that part of it works.
It is a form of DID. We are sort of playing around with the CIP68 to create an identifier. It's a way of we're using it right now on the Plutus PBL. It's a way of like using an NFT with a metadata that updates dynamically to record these on-chain skill acquisition and contributions.
Gotcha. Okay. So each time you get a new skill mastery or whatever it is, that NFT identifier will change and update. Very
Correct.
cool. Very
Correct.
cool. Really good use case for CIP68 and the dynamic entities. Very, very cool. Okay. Now, how are you going to measure the depth of understanding for each one of these course modules? So you go through it. How do you know that this person now has that mastery of that particular component?
So that's actually that's an excellent question. And one of the particularities of our system is the governance engine. For a very detailed customization of how you validate mastery. So you can choose a teacher token, and someone just validates that mastery, evaluating your assessment. But you can also use peer review, and just so you have to have a certain number of contributors that are participating in the course validating that your contribution or your assessment has been validated as mastery. Or you can use any type of voting mechanism, like a simple majority. But the point of it is that you can sort of tweak it to your own preferences, and this, of course, gets reflected. So there are going to be different ways, different mechanisms of validating, and people are going to be able to measure and sort of choose their own preference through the governance engine. Sorry, Pete.
Mute button. Sorry.
Sorry.
So is there a cost for the student to go through this type of course?
So right now we have the Plutus project-based learning. That's like the beta of the platform. It's that program, and that has absolutely no cost. And we would be hoping to do the same with the Project Catalyst. Our ideal is to provide education for free. We can find other avenues to fund this kind of effort. Education should be out there for free, especially for these kinds of initiatives that are so important for the community. And education in general, in our opinion, should be at as close to a free resource as possible.
Yeah. Okay. So since it's free, how are you guys going to continuously fund yourselves? Are you going to rely on Catalyst continuously to build out these courses and these features that you're doing, or do you have some sort of revenue stream that you are coming up with? It's just that, you know, you're building up some really cool stuff here and a lot of really good educational learning resources. But you know, the front end still requires a server of hosting or some sort. So how are you going to sustain that so that in the future, 2-3 years time, people can still go through these Catalyst courses? You can still update them, etc.
Absolutely. So what we're thinking about is not for the contributor to pay for the course, but the organization that is providing that resource can pay for the course. Because at the end of the day, this is a contributor onboarding platform. So
yeah,
the main goal of Andamio is to onboard contributors to your organization. And if you look at the statistics of how much companies spend on contributor onboarding, and I mean recruitment, hiring, and onboarding, it's in the billions of dollars, generating any sort of in-house training methods, that kind of stuff. So we're hoping to attract that niche of, we're making this easier to you to attract talent that fits your problem. So invest in this kind of solution instead of going through the whole recruitment funnel that is not optimized to find a talent that is the best fit for your problem. This would surface people that are engaged and motivated to actually solve what you want to solve. So we're thinking about it as a better solution where you can put your resources to get that talent acquisition strategy going on.
That's pretty smart. You know, you put together an online course about web development, and by the end of it, you've trained that web developer into the type of skills that you want for your own company. And if they pass and they do that final thing, you get the submission and go, oh, you passed. Might as well hire you. It's a really smart way of doing it. Okay, might do that for my own web developers. Now, my final question here, we've got to be quick because we're running out of time. How much funding are you asking, and the timeline of delivery?
So this proposal, I don't have it right here, but I believe it's 200 or 127,000 ADA, around 127,000 ADA.
Yep.
And it is a 9-month. Sorry, I should have that on my head, but I think it's. I'm pretty sure it's. Give me 1 second. I'll find it right now. Have it right now.
And for those that don't have it, or if we can't find it, I will put it all in the show notes for everyone as well. I just don't have it on hand either, so I will grab it.
Sorry. Yeah, I should have had it here. I normally have it. Okay, 271,000. And the timeline, this pays for 9 months of work, just because the implementation of the program itself is around, this is 6 months of work.
Yeah.
Considering that we're implementing the program. Sorry.
Brilliant. Okay. Like I said, I'll put all that in the show notes. Everyone can find out a little bit more information. You got that link tree there for all your other proposals as well. So good luck with Fund 10. There's a lot to go through. So good luck with all the voting and the next phase.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me here.
Thanks, Roberto. I'll probably catch up and talk more about this. It's actually pretty cool. All right.
Yeah, please. Okay.
All right. Chat soon.
Bye.
So our next guest is already in the lobby waiting, and we've already connected. This may be a familiar face for everyone. Josh, welcome to the Catalyst Sprint 11. Now, we've got a little proposal that we're going through for yours. And I've actually got to thank you first for sponsoring a couple of these sprints. Your videos popped up and you've got quite a few mentions in the early few ones. So thank you so much for that. But we're going through your proposal here, and this one's all around translations and having all these tools for content creators to be able to translate the content into different languages. So we've got 5 minutes to go through a presentation, and then I'll go through a Q&A session afterwards. So take it away, Josh.
All right, sounds like a plan. So if you break down my proposal to what it does at its most basic level, it basically enables me to quit my full-time job and focus on Cardano content creation full-time. In the past 2 years that I've created Cardano content, I've been doing it alongside my full-time job, and that's had some limitations to it. I've been able to only commit something like 15, maybe sometimes 20 hours a week to creating content on my YouTube channel over at Late Game Crypto. I'd like to spend a lot more time doing that. This is what I want to be doing for the rest of my life. Crypto is something that I'm very passionate about, and I'd really like to dive into it. But I wouldn't be just contributing in ways that other content creators are already doing. In addition to creating the content output that I would be putting up, the regular content that you see on my YouTube channel today, I would also be having my content translated into at least 5 different non-English crypto languages that are from countries with populations of crypto users that are the highest on the planet. So that we can kind of appeal to the people around the world that Cardano wants to be getting connected with, that people are interested in this topic. And when I say translation, I mean both subtitled translation, and I also mean audio dubbed translation. And the way that I've been able to make this happen, I've been experimenting with AI tools, different AI tools actually, in order to create a more refined media product. A lot of the issues that these translation services have is that they don't capture industry standard words, especially in the crypto space. It's very difficult to capture. And there's also a lot of issue around proper nouns and names of companies and things of that nature. So if I can tinker with these tools with some more time and establish a more proper workflow, I can really get a cost-effective and time-efficient workflow out there to be able to make this expansion and get information about Cardano into the hands of non-English speaking crypto users. Once I have that workflow down, I would be able to take that workflow and share it for free to other Cardano content creators to try and make the push to make this community the most linguistic agnostic community in the entire blockchain space. That's my hope. That's my ultimate mission. Would I be able to accomplish that in just a year's time frame that my proposal outlines? Probably not, but it would provide us with the fundamentals to be able to make that happen, to be able to accomplish that stretch. And it would allow other content creators, not just my own voice and my own style, but the content that all of the great creators in this space are creating, their unique style and passions and interests and the projects that they're covering, they would also be able to reach people of other languages with information about the content that they're producing. Video itself is an extraordinarily powerful media. All of the research points to it being the most influential form. And on the same token, the non-English speaking populations are massively underserved. English speaking content creators are by far the biggest population, and there's a very small amount of non-English speaking creators out there. So people are just not getting information about Cardano. And I think that's a really big deal because in the industry of crypto, the non-English speaking users are actually so much larger in terms of population than the English speaking ones. So there's a ton of people out there that we're not reaching. And the Cardano community, it seems, is mostly consisting of English speaking users. So I think that there's a lot of people out there that we could be reaching that we're not, and we could. And I hope to help us accomplish that. So yeah, that's my proposal.
All right, Josh, I think it is brilliant. What I found from running these Catalyst sprints, because I run them in Australian friendly times, it's also Asian friendly times. And the majority of the proposals I get through on the weekends, the Catalyst sprints, are all from Vietnam, Southeast Asia. And when I put in your sponsored ad, they're like, that's great. That's brilliant. We need more translations into our local languages. So it was really well received on a lot of those Catalyst sprints where, it's not their first, English is not their first native language. So I think it's absolutely brilliant and can extend the reach of our Cardano content creators. I too would love to do this full time, but it's just not possible, especially in a bear market at the moment. So it's a long road for us, I think, as content creators to get there. Now, I got some questions for you. First off, do you have any stats or info around how many people are speaking different languages? Because I don't think a lot of people realize this in regards to how many people don't speak English. So it's it's. I know you can just pull it up real quick.
Yeah, no, I can. I've got some stuff here that I can pull up. But yeah, it's I want to say in the top few countries that are crypto users, there's lots of English speakers that are there. But there's a very high density of crypto users in countries like India and Asian countries in Vietnam and the Philippines. There's also a lot of non-English speakers in Africa, Nigeria, and I want to say Kenya are also very heavy, very dense with crypto users. And they're predominantly non-English speaking. A lot of these countries, it's like 9 or 10% of people that speak English, not fluently, but just as a second language that they might be able to comprehend on a very basic level. A lot of the times it's not familiar enough to be able to pull up documents. Come on now. Here we go.
So while you pull that up, I'll just put a little comment here. So I do go through a lot of my stats on the YouTube channel to try and work out where people are coming from and what I can do. So anytime I see some content doing really well, I do start translating into other languages. So at least the subtitles, and that just gets a little bit more reach again, because I know people are interested in it and they're clicking that auto translate button. So if people are trying to auto translate it and the translation isn't very good, then I get someone else to actually do the translation manually, and they go through all the text, do all the corrections, and it's a lot better after that. So you got the stats there? What are you trying to
I do. Let me see here. So India being the top country that is using crypto, there's 299, well, pretty much 300 million crypto users in the country, and that's 29% of the overall population. China is 93 million. Nigeria is 64 million. Indonesia, 57 million. Pakistan, 55 million. And then we've got the US at 43 million crypto users. So there's a very large crypto population there that is very, very much not English speaking, and it dominates the amount of crypto users that we see on the planet. So lots of people not being reached.
All right. I do see that working with Blue Shift and doing the community management and socials there. We've got a massive Indonesian community. I don't know. It just happens. So it just works out that way. It's a massive community there. Now, I think we've got time for one last question here. And this is around, have you tried looking into human done translations? you may not be aware, because the Cardano ambassadors, they do it for free because they get paid by the foundation. So you can actually tap on their shoulders and they can do the translations for you as well.
Yeah, no, I didn't know that. I've looked into human translations and a variety of services, and it's extraordinarily expensive. The services that are out there, especially when you add in the extra service of having them do the research to include industry standard words. For as much as it can be as much as like $150 to $300 a video, depending on how long your video is, what language it is, how complex. There's a lot of factors that go into it, but it can get really, really expensive. With the process that I'm working on and the AI tools that I'm utilizing, I think it can get down to as little as $2 to $4 per video.
Wow.
Again, depending on like how long the video is. So I can get it very, very cheap. And it would be a great resource, I think, for all Cardano content creators. And in a way that would be accessible, in a way that wouldn't overload. Maybe like if we all use Cardano ambassadors, like we'd actually be able to get all of our content translated this way.
I think you overload their workload as well. So I don't know if they'll be able to keep it up. All right, awesome. Josh, thank you for joining me. I'll put the links to your Catalyst proposal in the show notes, and hopefully you get a decent amount of views on this one, because I think it's incredibly powerful to be able to open up to different languages. Thank you. I appreciate it so much. I appreciate it. All right, I've got a little clap here for you. Applause. There we go. Sometimes I get that working right. All right, thank you. Thanks, Josh.
Bye, Pete.
All right, so our next guest that's coming up here. There we go. Live streams are working well for once. So we have Francesco or Vladik joining us from Drunken Dragons Entertainment, and we're going to go through his Catalyst proposal here. I'm pretty excited about this one. I love the game, the platform. Your stand last year at CNFTCon was absolutely amazing. And I managed to get one of the T-shirts and everything as well. So it's always excited to hear more about your project and what's going on. So you got 5 minutes to go through your Catalyst proposal, and then we've got a little QA session afterwards as well. And just a reminder for anyone on the live stream that's watching, please hit that like button. It not just only helps the video and increases the reach, it helps all these projects get more views as well. So hit the like on the way in and we'll get underway. So whenever you're ready, I'll start the timer.
All right, Peter, thank you very much. Right, let's start. So what are we creating? We're creating the Drunken Dragon universe. This is a decentralized fantasy franchise where creators have open access to the IP and fans can use decentralized governance to decide what becomes official and organically evolve the franchise. So basically the problem we're trying to solve is centralized corporations of fantasy franchises letting fans down. So we don't want another last season of Game of Thrones to happen. We don't want another Disney decanonizing the Star Wars extended universe. We don't want another Activision spoiling Blizzard's games and universes. So what we want to solve this by offering an alternative and decentralized fantasy franchise where indie creators and fans can own the development of the franchise. And passion and opportunity can actually reign over greed. So our mission is to revolutionize the entertainment industry by creating fair opportunities for indie creators and empowering fantasy fans. Well, for that, we have created and continuously develop a series of products to bootstrap the franchise. These are already live at ddu.gg if you want to check them out. But basically, we have 4 Cardano NFT collections that you can use on our RPG game already on mainnet called Drunken Dragon Instant Quest. And second, we have a series of comics, which first comic can already be purchased on the Kindle store. So basically, we already have products and we need Catalyst and your support to continue the development of the franchise and of this. We actually have 4 Catalyst proposals. We have 2 related to the game systems that we have planned, and you can actually see what are the game systems that we will develop with these two proposals. We also have another comic series continuation proposal. So we basically want to fund the continued development of our comic series. And lastly, we want to start building the decentralized marketplace for games, for indie games that use the Drunken Dragon universe IP. So this, of course, will help us continue what we already have, and yeah, and keep just developing the game, the franchise, and start building the decentralized tools that we need. So now, why is this good for Cardano? When the Drunken Dragon universe becomes a well-known fantasy franchise, we will onboard millions of indie creators and fantasy fans. They will use the Cardano blockchain to create new products, vote on them, and manage decentralized treasuries. So just to make it easy, basically imagine Disney running on top of Cardano. That is what we want to achieve. So I think our team is in a quite strong position right now. So first, we have been in Cardano for 2 years already, building and actually delivering already running products. As I told you, you can already check them at ddu.gg. Second, through these last years, we actually have solidified our team and processes and have become much more efficient. Third, we're part of the Virginius X Accelerator program, so we have plenty of good advice there. And fourth, we're in partnership with IOG Marlowe team and TX Pipe, the Mirror team. Basically, they're helping us actually develop our platform. Well, they're advising and actually giving us resources to develop the technical aspects of our project. So basically, that's it. With your vote, we can keep creating a fun NFT game, create an epic fantasy universe, and eventually bring millions to Cardano.
Brilliant. Brilliant. So let me just start the timer for the next part, which is the QA session. So let me just, there we go. All right. Now, I'll just do that for you there.
Awesome. Thank you.
Just a quick wardrobe change in the while the camera was off. All right, now I've got a couple of questions for you here. Now you're going through a lot of these Catalyst proposals to get the funding, keep going and developing the next bits and whatnot. You had your NFT sale early on to raise funding as well. Well, will you always be reliant on Catalyst? I'm just trying to look for have you looked at different revenue streams to continuously keep the development and involvement and onboarding going? Because I love what you're doing. I love the game. I love the artwork and everything around it. So I'd love to see you guys keep growing for like the next 10 years and fulfilling your mission.
Well, yes, we actually already have revenue streams working right now. And I guess there's two parts to this answer. So the first one is we already have income from the current sale of the Adventures of Theoden collection, which we are actually migrating. Actually, just today we stopped the sale on JPEG Store, and we're migrating to an in-house made store that will actually sell other stuff. We also have all the new NFT collections that will be selling for Dragon Silver, which I think that's going to be super exciting. And we actually earn a bit of royalties on each one of those sales. Yeah. Of course, we also have the royalties from all of our live collections. And we have the D&D pool. So all of these are actually already providing us with a certain revenue stream. And we still have some funding from the last sales. So in that side, we're okay. But we really want to push the development through the Catalyst proposals, because we want to expand the team. Basically, we want to fire this up. And next to that, of course, we're also exploring what are the revenue streams from NFT games, right? Which is, I think, is like a whole topic of itself. But we do have plans to continuously, monetize our game without being, either pay to win or, being overly aggressive on, the different pros and cons of being an, NFT based game.
Yeah, yeah. I'm always so super interested in the revenue streams for game developers because like yeah, I play a lot of mobile games and it's oh, here's a shiny new weapon. Yeah, sure. Bang, $50 later, it's like I should have. You get buyer's remorse, should I spent that much? But it's a brilliant revenue stream for those game developers. So I'm interested in how like is the royalties from selling the NFTs, is it enough to sustain development? Does it equate to a nice amount to actually extend the game and build those AAA mobile games and whatnot that are out there? So those models I'd really love to dig into, and probably you should have you on the podcast again to talk about them.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Now
that'll be a lot.
Yeah, I think it's brilliant thing to really dig into. So I will organize that actually. Now, this is a question from the live stream. This is from Yoursoft. If your franchise is successful, how will usage of DDIP on external marketing campaigns be handled?
If it is successful, sorry, what was the second
So
part?
I think this comes down to like the sharing of the IP and allowing the community to be able to take it away and build on top of it. So if the general Drunken Dragons IP gets really successful and you do external, how do you handle external marketing campaigns on it?
Yeah, so basically we are taking the things that I think are working really great from Cardano itself. So for example, Cardano has, the stake pools for governance, there's, this whole process for the decentralization of Cardano's governance, and we have Catalyst, right? So we basically want to copy these models, which are already proven to work and which are already native for Cardano users, and implement them in our ecosystem. So we are going to create decentralized treasuries so that the community, through all of the transaction revenue that is earned by the ecosystem through all the transactions of actually purchasing games, etc., a decentralized treasury will form, and people will be able to come just like in Project Catalyst and do proposals for the enhancement of the Drunken Dragon universe itself. So, for example, marketing campaigns eventually will be funded by the Drunken Dragon decentralized treasury in the same way that all of these proposals are actually being, funded by Project Catalyst. So it's the ecosystem fitting itself. We want to copy that from Cardano.
Oh, I'd love that. That's a really good idea. And it really encourages the growth of the community as well. If the community knows, oh, this is funny, I can actually get paid for doing what I love, then fantastic.
Yeah.
They'll jump on board and do it as well. So I haven't seen the comic book series that you guys put out, so I will have to catch up on that and have a look at that. Is part of it accessible, or do I have to get an NFT? Is it gated or anything?
So right now it is, you have to purchase it for $5 in the Kindle store. So it is, I mean, you don't need a Kindle to actually read it. There's like a web reader for it. But we actually will be working, and especially if we get some of these proposals approved, we'll be working on making the comic more accessible. And then, of course, making it an NFT is one of the top priorities for that one. The comic, we just wanted to finish the first one, make it accessible as soon as possible. But we'll definitely keep evolving the accessibility to the comic, definitely.
All right, brilliant. Okay, that's pretty much time. Yep, spot on there. Let me turn that off. So thank you so much for joining me on the episode as well and talking through the whole Drunken Dragon universe and everything around it. Put the links and everything, the Catalyst proposals in the show notes. There's 4 of them, so just remind people about that. And you can help support some awesome onboarding games in the Cardano ecosystem. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you for doing this, Peter. Good luck.
Awesome. All right. Our next guest is already waiting as well, so let me get on board. Logan, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, sure can. Just checking there. A little bit of echo, so I'll make sure my mic is off. But we've got your first off, Clarity. Congratulations on launching. So I did check out the mainnet just a little bit earlier and had a little play around with it. I saw a couple of DAOs like already forming on mainnet as well. So first off, congratulations on that. And then second off, we've got your Catalyst proposal that we need to go through here. Is it just one? Do you have anything to share on screen as well?
I wasn't planning on sharing screen, but I appreciate the congratulations. It's been a lot of hard work, so yeah, we're really proud to get something out that hopefully the Cardano ecosystem finds very useful.
All right, brilliant. Well, you got 5 minutes to go through your proposal, and then we've got the Q&A session afterwards. So whenever you're ready, go for it.
Awesome. Yeah, so really to give background, what Clarity is we build no-code governance infrastructure for Cardano projects. So whether you're an NFT that wants to use the NFT as governance power, or you're a DeFi protocol that wants to operate a decentralized treasury and have governance rules surrounding that treasury that automatically have on-chain proposals that can trigger treasury withdrawals or update governance parameter, that type of thing. So we make that a no-code experience for Cardano projects. So just really, to sum it up, a really easy way to implement governance into any Cardano native token. So the proposal that I am going to be chatting about is really extensions to the infrastructure that we've already built. And really what we want to do is make a very robust treasury management, decentralized autonomous organization that can have very robust treasury management. So the first one proposal is called DAO owned staking keys. And really, this is really exciting because really how we came about this, the problem we're solving is that we were talking to a lot of different people that wanted to build DAOs. And they're like, okay, so if we have DAOs in our treasury, does that mean we can't stake it to stake pool operators? And we were like, no, you can't as of now. But we figured out and we looked into it, and it's technically feasible to be able to, create a staking key for a DAO treasury. So really what it means is that if we build out this feature, DAOs will be able to create a proposal that says, hey, we want to stake, X amount of ADA to this stake address, so that DAO treasury can work for the DAO while it's just going epoch through epoch, and earn rewards to have some passive income there. But yeah, so that proposal is called DAO owned staking keys. We actually have a bunch of other proposals in, but that's the main one I wanted to highlight on this live stream. But yeah, if I have time, I would talk through one more. How much time do I have, Pete?
You got plenty of time. You still got about 3.5 minutes or so to talk through the other ones. I know you got 7 proposals, so you can pick out some other ones. And then I'll go through the questions around all these ones that you pointed out. But the DAO staking thing, I think, is... I had no idea it didn't have staking keys. And I thought the DAOs were making ADA rewards off of it.
Yeah, so DAO infrastructure is early on Cardano, so there's going to have to be some functionality built out. So I'll go through a few more.
Sure.
The next one, another proposal that we have is called Clarity DAO Treasury DeFi integrations. So really, this is a treasury that would allow for asset swaps within the DAO treasury. So if your community wants to have, hey, we want to swap our ADA for, IUSD, or we want to swap our ADA for, a Genius Yield token, whatever it may be, you're able to have those swaps. And then also you would also be able to use your treasury assets in Optum bonds as well. So we've talked with Sunday Swap and we've chatted with Optum, and we'll be able to integrate with their protocol. So that one is all about getting DAO treasuries to have the ability to easily participate in DeFi. And then we also have one other one that I'm excited about. It actually didn't get great reviews from the kind of proposal reviewers, but we thought it added a lot of value the first time we did it, and that's the DAO pitch competition. So really what this does is it helps seed a pitch competition where the community gets governance tokens to vote for their favorite early stage project on Cardano that wants to implement decentralized governance. So last time we had 16 early stage projects all get to pitch their DAOs in front of industry experts. So we have one person on the Clarity team is an early member of MakerDAO. We have Web3 lawyers come in to judge, DeFi protocol owners come to judge early stage projects, and different investors and things too. So you can get exposure. So we think that adds a lot of value to the Cardano ecosystem. But I'll pause there. There's other proposals that include kind of adding the ability to have liquid democracy within a DAO built on Clarity as well. So that's pretty cool. But yeah, really, the point of all of our proposals is to build on kind of our previously delivered Catalyst proposal and build some robust DAO infrastructure for Cardano projects.
All right, I think it's really important. Like, there's so many projects out there that do want the DAO capabilities, and having more options out there for the users. We got other ones out there as well, but options are good, and the more the better. So the first off, let me go back to the staking keys and the actual first proposal that you were talking about. Like I said, I had no idea that these treasuries were not getting staking rewards, which is incredible, because it just makes sense. Like, you pull your ADA, stake it, earn some rewards, and then you can do whatever you want with that treasury. But no. Now, how's that being done then? Like, is that, can you say like how it's going to be done, or what the magic sauce that you've worked out? Secret
Well,
sauce?
I don't think it's not magic. And I think the reason why it's not possible right now is just because DAO infrastructure on Cardano is early right now. I think that,
Right.
When you talk about a DAO that has, a founder controlled wallet, and they might be trustworthy founders, they can stake the ADA, right? And have rewards come. But if you're operating like a script treasury that is connected to all these different governance rules, that the only way this treasury can get spent or sent to an SPO is through a community-wide on-chain vote, that's not there yet. So really, the magic thing about the infrastructure we're building is that after a governance proposal passes and receives community consent, anything that can be expressed in Plutus can be executed as part of the proposal. So we're in the early days of the community building out those different types of effects. And that's it. And just to dive into it a little more, if you want to look into it, the governance module is called Agora. So this is an open source governance module that was built by our team in Liquid Labs, and a few others as well. So yeah, we're pretty much creating a proposal effect that allows for the DAO to have a staking key, the ability to stake it, the ability to unstake it, the ability to get rewards back into the treasury, all that type of stuff.
Agora, yeah, I did see that back a few months back, and I did start to dig into it, but didn't go that deep. So I will revisit that and learn a little bit more about Agora and how that all works. So brilliant to see that you're working with a lot of different projects. Who's behind the code for this side of things with the staking keys? You mentioned it, but names.
Yeah. So MLabs, so really what Clarity is a joint venture between Clear Contracts, which is a company I'm co-founder, and MLabs. Really, we had a very similar Caddis proposal. I think it was in Fund 7. We both were like, look, there's no DAO infrastructure on Cardano. It's been successful on Ethereum. You can look at Aragon, DAO Stack, Upstream, all those different types of projects, and Cardano didn't have that yet. So we came together because we saw we had kind of complementary skill sets. They have obviously a lot of on-chain developers. We've worked with, his name is Tomas. He's amazing. He's been with us for the last kind of year and a half, helping us with the on-chain side of things. And then we have two kind of full stack developers on the Clear Contract side that are in charge of kind of the UX and connecting the on-chain infrastructure with the front end.
Brilliant. Okay. Really good to know. Yeah. And if people do want to know a little bit more about it, I did do an interview with the guys almost a year ago now, I think. So I'll put the links to that in the show notes as well, so you can check out a little bit more about what Clarity do for the ecosystem. And like I said, I'll do an updated video about the launch as well and how to actually go through and create a DAO. So that's super exciting. Now, I'll go back to the DAO pitches that you guys did as well. I thought that was a brilliant idea. And I saw the engagement on Twitter, all the projects that started going through as well, and then the shortlist, et cetera, et cetera. So it'd be really good to see that one come through again. I'm sure it was a lot of work, right?
Yeah, it's a lot of coordination, making sure there's good judges on and getting projects interested. But yeah, we're trying to improve on the last one, honestly. So we had really what fueled the prize pot for the last one was the purchasing of NFTs. And those were also the governance assets. So it's kind of a pay to play type of game. But if this Catalyst proposal goes through, we're going to do the governance token distribution for that competition in a completely different way. So it's not as much pay to play, but the best project can really win and get some community support.
All right, interesting. Now, the last one I'll touch again is on the DAO Treasury DeFi side of things, and that's allowing a community to open up and participate in DeFi via a treasury as well. Super interesting. The mentality of crowd decisions is always interesting as well. It's like someone might put up a proposal, and this is one of the mechanisms that I want to understand on a DAO because I haven't really worked through it. Now, if a vote, for example, let's go all in, entire DAO treasury to buy SNEC tomorrow, don't know if it's going up or down. If that vote passes through, does that automatically get triggered and potentially purchase all of that SNEC or meme coin or whatever it is?
Yes, it would. That's
Whoa.
And that's yeah. So I mean, you gotta, if you are a DAO, if you are creating an actual Agora DAO, a completely on-chain treasury with those smart contract controlled thresholds, you better be careful about your thresholds, and you would hope that there's certain just good actors in the community for the most part. So that's one weakness of DAOs is the ability to be socially attacked per se. But on the Clarity platform, actually, what's live on mainnet, they're not fully on-chain organizations. So these are organizations where you can limit proposal creation to admins, and you can have proposals, everyone be able to submit proposals, but you also can have kind of a check where the admins of the organization have to approve a proposal before it goes to a community-wide vote. So we're really thinking about kind of temperature checks and how you can layer kind of snapshot voting infrastructure on that heavy-handed, automatically executing stuff that will come with the launch of the Agora functionality.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Good. Perfect timing. That was just one main thing that I was really worried about, like some really stupid proposal going through, and then everyone just gone, "Hey, yeah, why not? This is going to be funny," and then wipe out an entire treasury of the DAO just because it was, for laughs. I'd hate to see that happen. Yeah, all right. But there's maturity in the Cardano ecosystem, right? So that's never going to happen.
Hopefully. We'll
all
see
right.
what happens. I'm sure there's a few degens out there.
Yeah, very, very true. I guess it also depends what projects go through and create DAOs as well. It might just be that type of environment. But Logan, once again, congratulations on launching on mainnet, and thank you for joining me on this episode. I'll put all the links to your proposals in the Catalyst, in the show notes down below in this video, and good luck with the Fund 10 voting.
Thank you so much for having me on. I'll talk to you soon, I'm sure.
Awesome. All right, thanks.
Take it easy, man. Bye.
Now, our next guest is in the lobby. Let me get him in. And we have Matt here from Cosmic Champs. Now, I did have the pleasure of talking with Matt a couple of months ago now on a Twitter space that organized with Blue Shift over on the Algorand side of things. And you think, oh, what is Pete doing on the Algorand side of things? And this was all the expansion over to Algorand via Milkometer. And I had the pleasure of diving into the Cosmic Champs ecosystem and learning a little bit more about it, how the whole wallet system works, what happens when you lose your seed phrase. I have no idea where that wallet is now, and I am extremely annoyed about that one. I think I put it on a post-it note and thought, oh yeah, I'll transfer that later to my seed phrase vault, and I never did. So I'm never going to see that one again. But Matt here has a Catalyst proposal. They're building a AAA mobile game over on the Cardano ecosystem and bringing it over and doing some really cool things. Matt, you got 5 minutes to go through your proposal, and then we've got a little Q&A session afterwards. Were you sharing your screen?
Yes, that will be.
Yep, go for it whenever you're ready.
Yeah.
There we go. It's all working.
Can you see that?
Yeah, and I'll start the timer for you.
Awesome, thank you. Hey everyone, I'm Matty, one of the co-founders of Cosmic Champs, as you've heard from Pete. Thanks for that great introduction. So Cosmic Champs is a AAA quality blockchain game that we've designed to solve some of the major issues in the space. So two of the main problems that we see are that many blockchain games aren't fun to play repeatedly, and many games have barriers to entry that reduce the chances of mass adoption. So these barriers are things like the requirement for NFTs, tokens, or even a wallet to play the game. So Cosmic Champs is tackling these problems by developing an addictive and fast-paced gameplay experience that's easy to access for anyone with a device and an internet connection. So we're building this game with people that have no crypto experience in mind. We want those people to be able to play this game very, very easily. So playing on screen now is the game that we've built over the last 2 years. It's currently available on Android and Apple smartphones, and we have a browser version for those on PC. It's still in the beta stage, so we're still adding functionality as we go. So it's not quite ready for the official launch just yet, but that'll be hopefully early next year. So it is a real-time strategy game with a Tower Rush format. It's set in a retro future where ships crewed by champs traverse the cosmos, descending to do battle on hostile planets. Champs compete in online battle arenas, and they fight tooth, nail, and antenna for their share of cosmic gold and intergalactic fame. It's a fun and addictive game that has a similar experience to the hugely successful Clash Royale. So to play, users select a deck of 8 characters that they wish to use in battle. Then they deploy the characters anywhere in the arena that's in that deployable zone on their side of the arena. And the aim is to destroy their opponent's base and defend their own. So Cosmic Champs is harnessing the power of the blockchain while removing much of the onboarding friction that has limited blockchain games in the past. Our 3D NFTs and token will enhance the experience, but they're not required to play. Players don't even need to connect a wallet. So playing Cosmic Champs will be as easy as your typical Web2 mobile game. Users will go to their preferred mobile app store, they'll download the app, and they should be able to start playing straight away. At the moment, there's only a few million people that are playing crypto games, but there are estimated to be 2.6 billion mobile gamers in the world. So games are a really powerful vehicle for onboarding millions of new users into crypto, and breaking down those barriers to entry is going to be key to tapping into this huge pool of potential new users. So all of our NFTs are 3D models. I don't know, that's not playing. There we go. They're all 3D models, and we've created an NFT viewer where users can view the model, they can play around with it, they can watch its different attack, movement, and death animations. They can also capture a profile picture from their preferred angle and pose, so they can put it on social media or wherever they like. And we also have an AR viewer that anyone can use to see their NFTs in the real world and take photos with them. So we've spent a lot of time and effort trying to create a game, and then infrastructure around the game that we think people will really get excited about and want to use. So we're seeking some funds to do the following. So as Pete mentioned at the start, we have built initially on Algorand, but we're looking to branch out, and we want to launch on Cardano and have a native game on Cardano as well. So we want to integrate native Cardano wallets and launch our beta game. We want to launch an NFT collection, improve the usability of the mobile app, increase functionality of on-chain assets, and then officially launch the game early next year. And so we've requested a total of 100,000 ADA, which covers about half of the cost of these activities. And we've got funding from elsewhere that we can use to cover the rest. So there was a comment in the application that asked why there was that gap between what we've requested and what's in our budget. And it's because we have some other funds to help cover those costs. So that's the end of my presentation. Thank you, and I'm very happy to answer questions.
Brilliant. All right, let me just reset the timer here for the QA session side of things. All right, okay. So there's quite a lot here. So you first off, you mentioned NFT collection on the Cardano side of things. I'm pretty excited about that. That's nice.
Yeah.
A little bit easier for
we want to
end.
create, I think, 6 new characters.
Yep.
And with a whole range of skins for those characters to launch natively on Cardano.
Brilliant. And I saw the date of that in November.
Yeah.
I'm just writing down these dates, just making sure I don't miss out on it.
We like to be ambitious.
Yeah. Well, from my point of view, you've already created an NFT collection. You know how it all works. You've created the assets on the Algorand side of things. So now it's just a matter of minting it on the Cardano side of things, which is pretty straightforward, really.
That's it. I didn't mention that we have launched 2 seasons of NFTs already on Algorand, and both sold out. So yeah, we do have a cast of characters and a whole collection of NFTs that already exist on Algorand.
Yeah, and having that success behind you, the community and everything else around it, and just expanding over to the Cardano ecosystem, so you can build up that community, I think is really important. Now, I mentioned in the previous AMA that we're on, I absolutely love the approach that you guys have of being able to onboard users without the wallets, getting them in from a gameplay point of view, as opposed to forcing NFTs, that whole pay to play kind of ecosystem around that.
Totally.
What was the how did you work that out? How did you step through that to work out that that was the best way to onboard people into the crypto space? And what is the mechanism for onboarding them onto once they're starting to play the game? Hopefully, answer that right.
Yeah.
Ask that right.
Yeah, it makes sense. We just saw the problems with the first iteration of play to earn games, blockchain games. You know, they had to release so many tutorials and go to such great lengths to educate people about how to access the game and how to play it and how to get NFTs and use marketplaces. And we just thought, that's a lot of extra work, right? And I think the order of things is also in reverse, because they're asking people to buy into a game, spend money in the game on the NFTs before they've even played the game. You know, if you look at Axie as a case study, you couldn't play it without buying Axies. Now they've changed that, right? Where you can get free starter Axies. But to begin with, you had to spend hundreds or thousands of dollars to get set up in a game that you'd never played before. And to be honest, the game wasn't that fun to play. It was all about the play to earn mechanics. That's what drew people in, and it was a new concept, and it was very exciting. They had a brilliant idea, and everybody's been copying that since, or at least updating that idea and trying to improve on it. So we saw that the order of things was the wrong way around. We wanted to create a really good gameplay experience that people wanted to spend money on because they liked the game, not because they could potentially earn some money or an income out of it. You know, people will play games for hours and hours every day for free. They don't need to be paid to play them. If they love a game, they'll keep coming back, because that's why they're there, right? To have fun, to have a good time.
Exactly.
We wanted to correct that, reorder things and make a bit of a correction, right? Web2 games do this so well, and we thought we want to emulate what they're doing, right? Create a killer gameplay experience and make it as easy as possible to access. So the game will be free. It'll always be free. We don't want to put ads in it because we think that's annoying. We just want to create a good gameplay experience, bring people in, get people hooked. And if they enjoy it and they want to enhance the gameplay experience, they can buy NFTs and they can buy power-ups and all kinds of things in the shop, but they don't have to.
Yeah.
They won't be at a disadvantage by not spending.
Great. Brilliant. And I love that you also mentioned that there will be no ads. I hate that mechanic.
It's so annoying. You play for like 3 minutes and then you have to watch a minute worth of ads.
Yeah, exactly. Absolutely. I hate that revenue model that so many games have adopted at the moment. I can understand watching an ad to speed up something, such as you're doing an upgrade and take like an hour, watch an ad, it will reduce to half an hour. That's okay, because I still have the option of not watching the ad.
Totally.
But okay. So I love that approach. And I think for me, coming from as a crypto native and hearing about Axie Infinity first, my mindset is, pay to play. It's, that just makes sense to me. And so it's good that narrative is being changed, and a lot more people and a lot more game developers are switching to game first, play first.
Well, crypto is complicated, right? We know how hard it is for new people to get their head around navigating crypto safely, especially safely, right?
Yeah, very much.
As you were talking about earlier, you lost your seed phrase for your Algorand wallet, and you're an experienced crypto user.
Yeah.
So I mean, these are the challenges that we face, right? So reducing those barriers to entry, making it as easy as possible for people to access, is, I think, going to be the key for games for success, for mass adoption in the long run.
We've got a question from the live stream as well, and this is around your token. So you've got the COSG token over on the Algorand side of things. Would you guys be considering bridging this over and making it a multi-chain token on the Cardano side of things?
We are considering it, but we haven't made any decisions yet. It's a complex thing.
Yeah.
It's very complex. You can launch a new token natively on the new chain, and then manage two tokens, which is very hard. Or you can bridge the token across and manage it that way, which is also challenging. So we're not sure. We're not going to start off with the token being bridged over to Cardano. We're just going to start with integrating a wallet, allowing people to play the game, launching an NFT collection, seeing how it goes, and if there's an appetite for it, then we'll look at launching a token or bridging it across. We haven't entirely worked that out yet because there are pros and cons that come with both of those scenarios.
Yeah, very much so. Then you have to work through arbitrage and price differences on either chains.
Exactly.
And,
exactly.
Bridges.
There's a lot of headaches.
bridges. All these bridges and these hacks on these bridges. But hopefully they're getting better. So yeah, there's definitely a lot of things that you guys have to work through.
It's a great question.
All right. Okay. Now just to recap, how much you were asking? Only 100,000 ADA.
Yeah.
And delivery timeframe for doing the wallet integration, and we should see something on the Cardano side by early next year, was it?
Yeah, I think the wallet integration it's only a couple of months away from now.
Okay, so we might see something a little bit earlier. So as soon as the NFT collection comes out, we might be able to jump on and play.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, great.
Absolutely.
All right.
That's the ideal, right? Once you get your NFTs, you want to be able to use them.
Yeah, exactly. All right, brilliant. I'm really excited that you guys are coming over to the Cardano side. It looks like you're going to do it either way, with or without funding. Just the funding will help you guys get it there quicker and make sure developers are paid. So Maddie, thank you so much for joining me on the episode and talking through your Catalyst proposal.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Make sure all the links and everything are in the show notes for you guys, and we should be all good.
That. Awesome.
Thank you.
Thanks, Pete. Bye, everyone.
All right. So our last and final guests have not arrived yet. There's always has to be one hiccup, doesn't it? And this I'm going to name it. This is Daniel from Zengate. It's supposed to be here right now. Now, I know they were all at Rare Evo on the weekend, launching Zengate, their commodity market. And you know what? I'm just going to warm up the space for them. Maybe they'll rock up right on time at the quarter to the hour mark. So let me just pull up the Zengate website and have a look at their things here. So there we go there. Palmyra is their product. Palmyra is their game. And it's about commoditizing and tokenizing assets such as tea, which is a really, really interesting play. So let me just get their Twitter account up and I'll be able to talk through this, and I'll click on the share screen button. There we go. So this is Palmyra. I have done a interview with the guys. I did an interview with Sam and Daniel about a month ago now. Links again in the show notes for you guys, and might appear in the top right hand corner of the screen. But here is their, let's see, there we go. We are live. So they launched their MVP at Rare Evo, which is really, really cool. And let me try and get to their website so you can actually see this all in play. There we go, Linktree. Website. It's opening all sorts of different tabs now. I haven't actually looked at their commodity market app itself just yet, so I think we can get to it from here. No, of course not. Of course, there's no quick links, are there? Let me just try and find that from the Twitter post here. Might have a link down here. There we go, palmyra.app. Look in the wrong place. They need to update their link tree. I'm just waiting for it to load. There we go. Expanding markets in the ever shrinking world. Let's have a look at this. Let's see what we got. There we go. That's really cool. So we can actually see the tea. So they've got supply chain tracking around this and everything. A lot of this is really just to digitalize processes that already exist in the commodity markets there in Sri Lanka where they're working through. So let's have a look at some of this teas. Wild Saline Spice Blend, 120 per kilo. And this just allows anyone to purchase the tea directly to the farmer itself, and basically go through the commodity market directly and purchase it through the blockchain. So we've got some fees here. So 5% fee, nothing massive really. And then, oh yeah, we've got the shipping calculator here as well. So we can take hold of the actual assets at the end. So brilliant what the guys have done. And I absolutely love what they have here. And I have Sam joining on as well. So let me just bring in Sam. And there we have Sam. And I was just going through the launch of Palmyra and the marketplace and everything around it. So just warming up the space for you, Sam.
Oh, thank you very much.
Is Dan joining as well? Or is it just you at this time?
Yeah, he should be. I didn't realize. Are we live right now?
We are live.
Oh, wow. There we go.
And there's Dan. So let me just get Dan in. Mics are good. And you are live as well, Dan.
Alive or alive?
Both. After Rare Evo.
Right.
Yes. So just to recap you, I was just going through the launch of Palmyra, the marketplace, and everything around it. Congratulations on the launch. Let me stop sharing my screen here. So congratulations on the launch and the presentation at Rare Evo as well. So it's pretty good to see.
Thank you.
All that in place. Now, you guys do have a Catalyst proposal. You got 5 minutes to go through your pitch here, and then we've got a short Q&A session afterwards. So whenever you guys are ready, do you have anything to share on screen?
No, not for today. So I just want to just preface as well. So we've got 3 proposals. The first one is a proposal focused around creating a new revenue stream for SBOs, and that's through securing the Rosen Bridge as a watcher. The second one Dan's about to talk about is a project which is really important to him. It's part of the Atala Challenge. Dan, obviously being an OG from the IOG days, this is really important to him and what we're doing for Palmyra, and I'll let him talk about that. And the last is an open source project around traceability solutions for Cardano. So I might hand over to Dan to talk about the Atala Challenge now.
Go for it, Dan. I'll start the timer for you.
Excellent. All right. Well, so mentioned, I was there from the beginning of Atala, and I saw it being built. I saw it kind of come to life. And Atala has always been, right? It was meant for nationwide adoption. It was meant for ministry level adoption. Something makes a difference across the spectrum, right? Something that is basically it encompasses a large group of people that are. And so the thing that I did at IOG for so long is exactly what the proposal is about, and that is I built ecosystems for these products to be deployed in. And so what that means is it means following a specific system, knowing who to talk to, knowing what to talk to them about, knowing how to set up focus groups, knowing how to set up alliances, partnerships, the right partnerships, kind of distribute tasks and distribute responsibility. And so all of these things, when you're on Twitter and something like this happens and somebody says, oh yeah, we just signed a partnership with the ministry of so-and-so from the country of so-and-so. It's like, oh my God, that is amazing. Why, And while it's not easy, it's not voodoo, right? It's not magic. There is a system. And what this proposal is about, capturing the blueprint of this system and putting it down for people to follow, so that this black magic is taken out of it and really logic is put into it, and really something that others can follow using Atala to deliver those levels of solutions can't use. And so this is why it's so important, because it's almost kind of like the user manual for deploying on that level using these tools. exciting. What we're doing is we're starting in a field that we have pool in, experience in, and we'll have the most success in, and that is the tea sector, because we've already done a lot of a lot of prep work to lead into this particular task. And so getting this proposal passed and getting these funds will mean that we can utilize what we already built, and you can see that we have quite a bit of groundwork that we've built from the launch of the MVP, from what we've been talking about on socials, and the partnerships the level of engagement we're getting from the sector. And so we can utilize that, we can leverage that, and then we can then propel the entire ecosystem by designing this particular piece of this particular blueprint, and then kind of pass it and making it template-like, and creating this template that they can then plug in their own pieces into and deploy on that level. So again, very exciting. We're just, we constantly talk about this, when this proposal passes, it would be great because we can do A, B, C, D, these things that we really want to do, we really want to accomplish. So that's it in a nutshell. And hopefully that made sense to everybody. And we look forward to getting your votes on this.
It's a lot of work. An entire blueprint for this Atala framework is a huge amount of work to put together. What's the amount of funding that you're asking for this one for in Fund 10?
So we're asking for 550,000 ADA for this project, and I think that's really to reflect the size of the task ahead, as Sam was talking about. So the good thing is we're not just spending our time creating a framework and just saying, here you go, try yourselves. So we have an actual use case, and that's the global tea sector. It's a $50 billion sector. So you can start to imagine the amount of people that we're going to impact with this. There's a huge stakeholder base, from producers to importers to certification providers, issuers, regulators, and the great thing, as Dan mentioned, is we as a company have spent 18 months doing this type of work. And we've also got a product that we can use to help onboard these types of people. But we have an industry that we can tap into. We've got experts around us. So we're getting support from Joyce Maynor, who is a global tea expert. She's got 30 plus years in this sector. And she's one of the directors of the European Specialty Tea Association. She works with UN-backed organizations. We've got Daryl from Continuum Loop, who is an ecosystem builder, open source builder in our own community. So we're very well positioned. We've got all the right pieces to execute this, not just in Sri Lanka, but in other markets as well. And we're going to show you Cardano how this works, and we're going to show the community how this works so they can do it themselves. This is a framework with an actual example happening in real time.
Yeah, and it's not just the tea markets. This is just the phase one. It's the first commodity. You're going to eventually expand off into different commodity markets as well. I recall rubber was one as well, which is another absolutely huge industry. Brilliant.
Yeah, absolutely. There's so many opportunities out there for onboarding. I mean, I was just during Rare Evo, I was talking to to Mickey from World Mobile, and he said that, I mean, he also sees that this is just a really big, kind of like a really grand thing that you can plug so many pieces into and it will work. So yeah, this Ceylon tea is our pilot commodity, but we are commodities exchange, a tokenized commodities exchange. And so absolutely, we will be onboarding other commodities. We already actually have it in the pipeline. So it's just a matter of time.
All right, absolutely brilliant. Now, you do have time to talk about some of these other proposals as well. I'll put the links to everything that Zengate are doing. But Sam, you mentioned the SBOs and the Rosenbridge side of things, and that's something I'm quite interested in myself, and something I applied for. But still waiting on more news and updates around it. So fill us in.
Sure. The team's been super busy, so we've got a meeting this week as well to start talking about getting prepared for the workshops. So we're pulling some information together. We've got a short list of SPOs that we want to reach out to initially to have some initial conversations about, I guess, the Rosen design, incentive design, stuff like that. So if all goes as scheduled and as planned, we will be starting some of these workshops before the voting period ends. So we're super excited. The Rosen team have done an excellent job. They've built out the infrastructure. That they're effectively just waiting at this point to get the onboarding started and to kick things off. So there's a lot of work to be done still, of course, but yeah, very close.
All right, very cool indeed. So soon we should have some workshops. We should be able to see some activity there. So I'll keep an eye out for that, and I'll make sure the team's all updated. With the proposal, what is the proposal covering for the whole integration and opportunities for SPOs?
Okay, so there's a few. It's split up in a few different, I guess, topic areas. So the first is the actually running some workshops. So Chef and the Rosen team will be working on that. And part of that is just to understand what the incentives needs to look like. So the team have spent a fair bit of work trying to understand what that is today, but we need your input. The SPOs are effectively one of the customers who are using Rosen. So there's a lot of input to be received from that end and to inform the system after that. And then most of the fund itself will be spent on two things. The first is on the development side. So building out a UI, UX, and sort of an ability to get onboarded really easily on the SPO side. I know how difficult it can be even to get started as an SPO. So we need to make it super easy, super seamless, and there's going to be some work to be done there. And then the last bit is just bootstrapping education and marketing. There's, the bridges have had an issue with hacks, design flaws. Billions of dollars have been lost through these exploits, and there's a lot of informational work and sort of educating we need to do as a team to sort of change that narrative. Like, we truly believe that this, the security design of this bridge is quite unique. It's quite different compared to what we've seen before as an industry. So we need to prove that out. We need to educate people. We think we've got the right system in place. So a lot of work will be done around that as well. And if we do this right, it means Cardano can get connected to lots of other ecosystems. Ergo can as well. And in partnership, this can be a really sort of useful tool, not just for SPOs to make more money, but to bring liquidity into the ecosystem, to bring builders, to bring other tooling into the ecosystem. So it's a really exciting opportunity. It's really up to the SPOs. It's really up to the community how big it can get. So this is just phase one, like with the other proposals.
Okay. Long road ahead of us, and I'm pretty excited of everything that you guys are bringing to the ecosystem. Now, we do have a little bit more time, just a few more minutes really, and we can cover your last proposal there. Let me just check what it was. I had it open 1 second ago, but I think we do have time to go through it.
It's the winter protocol. The winter protocol.
That is the one. And I have no idea what that means.
Well, so I'll just give you a quick spiel about it. So what you saw on stage at Rare Evo, that whole deal with the commodity being tokenized, the commodity being the traceability information appearing, the commodity then going on chain and showing up in the asset viewer, that is being run by Winter Protocol. And so essentially what it is a tokenization and traceability suite that utilizes NFTs, utilizes EUTXO NFTs because of their unique qualities, and then embeds data that then is traceability data. So the actual traceability data is not stored in the NFT. The NFT has a hash that is that comes from IPFS. So basically, the actual data is stored in IPFS. And the IPFS hash is stored in the NFT. And so that's how you reference different parts of the traceability data from the NFT to to pull the actual data. And so again, this creates a huge opportunity for various different projects to utilize this particular protocol. Now, right now, but what we're doing is we're actually creating it for Cardano, utilizing the same ETXO capabilities on Cardano, and doing it open source, of course. And I believe that this will be a huge thing for the ecosystem because, once again, and it's not in competition. Say Atala, right? Atala has got its own thing and got its own applications. Winter Protocol utilizes a different technology. It's got we're very symbiotic, I think. Yeah, it's just going to be a great tool for projects that are looking, to do track and trace, asset, to do value transfer, basically, of real world assets. Again, very exciting proposal. And again, now bring to Cardano.
And just one last thing, Pete, if it's all right.
Yeah.
If you've noticed, there's a very common theme in terms of the stuff we're building. It's very strategic. It's all very interlinked. And one of the ways I was just thinking as Dan was talking as well, and we talk about, is we're not just building infrastructure so that other people can use it. Like, we're building infrastructure so we can use it as well and demonstrate that you can build these business models around it. And at the end of the day, there are capital constraints, there's labor constraints around what we can do as a business, right? And we build these tools so we can demonstrate so other people can. The SBO proposal, we will be watchers ourselves. We will utilize that tooling as our own business. The Tyler project, we will utilize that framework, that business development playbook ourselves. It does, and other people can do the same. And the same thing with traceability as well. We all know for a fact that traceability compliance is coming. The EU deforestation laws, the Food and Drug Administration of the US, there's so many use cases for traceability. Like, businesses are going to be begging for this stuff. And Zengate can't do it all. There's space in the community, there's space in the ecosystem for lots of different companies to be built around this tooling. Why not build it on Cardano? Like, why not build it on Ergo? Like, why not build it on these, these UTXO blockchains? Like, we can't do it all, but someone else can. Someone can build a really nice front end for traceability. They can utilize the Winter protocol. They can deploy it for another business. The thing that gets me really excited is there can be so many new businesses that can build around some of the stuff we're using. And we're going to be doing it ourselves anyway. So there's going to be a use case around this stuff. But you don't have to innovate. Just watch. We will show the way, and other people can do it as well, and they can do it even better.
All right. Well, I will be watching, and maybe something will come up. Because I talk to so many projects that are, touching on the edges of supply chain traceability and doing all this stuff and building it from scratch as well. So why, when there's something already available and you can tap into it? So I'm super excited about what you guys are building. And like you said, everything is usable by other businesses, and follow your lead, build business models there, tap into different markets, and let other people run off with those ideas and build on top of it. So super excited, guys.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having us on.
All right. Thank you. And I'll put all the links and references to your Catalyst proposals in the show notes as well. Anyone that's interested, please give the guys a vote, support them through their development, and not just their development, but building tools and infrastructure for other people to build business on top of. So super exciting. Thank you very much, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. And that brings us to the end of another Catalyst Sprint, Catalyst Sprint 11. So awesome to have so many projects come on board and talk through their projects. It's always a pleasure learning a little bit more about all these projects and everything else in the Cardano ecosystem. Now, if you haven't given this video a like, please give it a like. Like I said a little bit earlier, it doesn't just help the discoverability of this video. It doesn't just help the YouTube algorithm. It helps the projects and the people building in the ecosystem. More exposure they get, the more potential votes they'll get in the future as well. Now, I do have more Catalyst Sprint sessions coming up. I've got one in about less than 24 hours from now. So check out the live stream and you'll be able to see when the next one's coming up. Let me just check the schedule here. We have, let's just scroll up. We have Hungry Haste, we have Fluid Tokens, we have Genius Yield and Maze Protocol coming up for the next one. If you're interested in any of those projects, make sure you tune in. We also, I think we have a short one on Friday, only 2 projects, and then that's it. That's all we have for this week. So still quite a lot coming up. Now, that's it for this live stream. If you enjoyed it,